The Stanik Mountain Trial, 6th round of this year's South African Rally Championship, saw the series shift to what must be some of the best rally country in the world. Starting in Bloemfontein, the mountain trial then moves into the mountainous areas around Allewille North, Lady Grey and Berkeley East. Before the start, with the mayor of Bloemfontein flagging away the first cars, drivers and navigators are relaxed enough to share a joke or two. Ahead of them, however, is Mountain Madness, with the Stanik Mountain Trial traditionally one of the ultra-high-speed events on the South African motorsport calendar. What have come to be known as spectator special stages are now part and parcel of South African rallying. 3 of these stages, in and around the Free State capital, got the mountain trial off to a flying start. Current championship leaders Jeff Mortimer and Frans Boshoff in the awesome Quattro S1 were chasing their 5th win in 6 starts this year, with plenty of opposition from the dealer team Toyota Conquest of Serge Damso and Vita Bonafedi. Damso and Bonafedi won the Nissan Rally early in the season, and the Stanik Mountain Trial quickly developed into a battle between the Toyota pair and the Quattro. A tough challenge was also expected from reigning South African champions Hannes Grobler and Piet Swanepoel in the 4x4 Nissan Skyline. Class B, with the skylines of Grobler Swanepoel, Cassie Coetzee and Wiley Harrington, and Jannie Habig and Martin Botha, up against the Passat Synchro of Nick de Waal and Spotty Woodhead, had the markings of a tremendous scrap. Leading contenders in Class D were Glyn Hall and Guy Hodgson in the Volkswagen Golf GTI. The aggressive Habig and Botha provided plenty of action with their sideways style and were to be rewarded with 5th place overall. Dickie Klaver and Doug Judd in another Nissan Skyline also put on a good show for the big crowds. Front-wheel drive expert Johan Evertse, with Steve Harding partnering him in the dealer team Volkswagen Golf, took the honours in Class E and came in 6th overall in a stirring drive. Also in the top 10 were Koos Roos in another Skyline, with Kyalami General Manager Dave McGregor in the hot seat. The pair finished 8th overall and were 4th in Class B. Veteran Roelof Fecken, a late stand-in for the injured Glenn Gibbons, showed he has lost none of his skill. Partnered by Peter Cuffley, the burly Fecken went on to win Class C. Privateers Lapis Labiskachny and Menno Havla, however, were not so lucky and were forced out with mechanical problems in their Nissan Langley. Springboks Eric Sanders and Richard Leek in the dealer team Toyota Conquest were heavily favoured to win Class F. The veteran pair did not disappoint their supporters, and a smooth drive saw them finish nearly 2 minutes ahead of the husband and wife team of Ben and Isabel van der Westhuizen in the class. Former racing driver Louis Parsons had a good event in his Volkswagen Golf GTI to finish 10th overall, with the van der Westhuizen 17th in the red Volkswagen City Golf. The now disused Brandkop racetrack was also utilized as a special stage on the first section of the mountain trial. Then it was off to Allewille North for an early start, with the mountain roads ahead providing crews with a special challenge. First on the menu, however, was another spectator special stage along the banks of the Orange River on the outskirts of Allewille North. The riverbank stage is provided for some dramatic moments on previous mountain trials and has special significance for Hannes Grobler. A couple of seasons ago, he hit a tree, now appropriately known as Hannes's tree, flipped the car onto its roof and then went on to win the event. Early morning mist added to the spectacle as the cars, lights blazing, roared through the trees with every second a precious one in the race for glory. With the cars reaching speeds in excess of 200 kilometers an hour on sections on the route, it was a wise spectator who scurried for safety. There were no mistakes this time from Grobler, but the reigning champion was never able to close the gap on Mortimer and Boshoff in the Audi Quattro, and Damso and Bonafedi in the Toyota Conquest. Mortimer, at 50, the oldest driver ever to win a South African Championship rally, is this year chasing his first South African Rally Championship. Navigator Boshoff, on the other hand, has won the Navigator's title no fewer than 8 times and has more than 50 victories to his credit. The Audi Quattro S1 is an awesome piece of machinery. This car is capable of speeds of more than 220 kilometers per hour, and it needs nerve, skill, and perfect teamwork between driver and navigator. The Stanek Mountain Trial is run on public roads in perfect condition, but potential disaster is always only a fraction of a second away. The Deval-Woodhead combination went well in the early stages in the Passat Synchro. Engine problems, however, were to force them out after only 8 special stages. This left the horde of Nissan Skylines to battle it out in Class B, with Damso and Bonafedi doing all they know to catch Mortimer and Boshoff in the overall stakes. Further down the field, there were also some fine duels developing. Some superb scenery provided a perfect backdrop to the unfolding drama, but for the crews, there was no time for sightseeing. As a refuel at Elliott approached, the rallier developed into a straight fight between Mortimer and Boshoff and Damso and Bonafedi. Grobler and Swanepoel were in a secure third, with Coetzee and Harrington and Habig and Botha locked in a superb struggle. At the finish, only 36 seconds separated the two cars, with just 49 seconds separating the teams finishing 4th, 5th and 6th.
Well, we're having a clean run at the moment, and on the last stage we took some time off Mortimer, and I think he had a bit of problem with brakes or something like that. So we're going to see now from now.
Up to this stage, the refuel has gone very well. It's extremely fast and very, very dangerous out there, and the corners can catch you. But we've had a clear run so far. We lost our brakes on Otto du Plessis due to overheating, and we'll see how it goes from now.
With a daunting Nodeers Nek special stage and the prospect of snow ahead of them, the final section of the mountain trial was set to provide plenty of action. Mortimer and Boshoff were running into brake problems on the Quattro, and it was a question of whether or not Damso and Bonafedi could haul in the deficit in one of the closest events of the season so far. Grobler and Swanepoel, although complaining of engine turbo lag, were still in with a chance if the front runners ran into serious problems. Evertse and Harding in the Class E dealer team Volkswagen Golf were running ahead of cars in the bigger capacity classes and were set to gather in another top 10 finish. Evertse is acknowledged as perhaps the leading driver of front-wheel drive cars in the country and has perfected the art of left-foot braking. Nodeers Nek, with the mountaintops covered with snow, provided a breathtaking sight. The roads were, however, clear of snow, and competitors were saved from driving in a South African version of the Monte Carlo Rally. The Stanik Mountain Trial provides crews with plenty of contrast. Ultra-fast sections with the roads wide and smooth suddenly give way to tight and tricky sections with little or no room for error. For the crews, stamina and intense concentration are prerequisites in what is a demanding and unforgiving sport. Up front, the battle was still between the Quattro and the Toyota Conquest. Mortimer and Boshoff were still plagued with brake problems, but Damso and Bonafedi were hampered by troubles of their own. They lost vital time via 2 punctures, and at one stage they had to travel 12 kilometers with a flat tire. Behind the leading pair, Probler and Swanepoel were still in a safe third, with Gutsier and Harrington only just holding off the challenge from Habich and Botha. With the final special stage in Alleville North just around the corner, Mortimer and Boshoff were in the lead by just on a minute. It was clear that if Damso and Bonafedi were to snatch a last gasp win, something dramatic would have to happen. There was, however, to be no upset. The Quattro maintained its record of consistency, and Mortimer and Boshoff came home by 58 seconds. For the Springbok pair, it was their 5th win of the season. It was close, but the Stanik Mountain Trial is an event that often plays on the mind of even the most hardened competitor. It is ultra-fast, extremely dangerous, and as far as crews are concerned, it is mountain madness.
Jeff, the event today, I mean, you chaps ran out of brakes down perhaps one of the most dangerous mountain passes in the country, the Otto du Plessis Pass here in the northeastern Cape. Was that something of a great hazard to you?
Exciting, to say the least. I didn't really enjoy it.
But how did you overcome this?
Well, we had some brakes. We were actually having to use a sort of a manual handbrake device that's in the car, and this gave us some retardation, but we were unable to really go very quickly. You know, and we lost a lot of time.
The same approach each year for you, Frans, in this event?
Well, you know, Jeremy, this is an event where there are not many instructions. You get onto a big wide road and you go for quite long distances without having to tell your driver anything. But I'll tell you, there's a lot of nervous tension in it because you're going very, very quickly on these stages. And you get a bit anxious at times.
Yeah, but I think overall you'd be pleased with Fred Froman, the clerk of the course, the way he's chosen the route.
Oh, indeed. It's a magnificent rally, you know. It's really the quickest of the season, and it's a very exciting one.
Our tyres we're using, unfortunately, are very soft, the sidewalls. Like the Audis, they use a special sidewall tyres, so you can cut corners and things like that with them.
Yeah. Now, Vito, you had a special message for Serge today in these very fast sections. I think you went to sleep, didn't you?
Well, actually, it's actually so quick and sometimes slightly frightening, so there wasn't time to nap. And what I try to do is try and look ahead to try and read the road further ahead for him. So there wasn't really much time for sleeping this afternoon.
So you weren't responsible for that 58-second loss. I mean, you lost by 58 seconds.
No, I don't know. I think it was from a team point of view, nobody can be blamed. I think it's a great effort from everybody at Toyota to be able to come second, 58 seconds behind the Quattro.
It didn't perform 100%, but we did a lot of development. We fitted a turbocharged 2.4 litre motor, and I think what we spend on our car and what the other crews spend on their cars, and they've spent millions of rands overseas on their cars, we can't really compete against them. But I think for what we did very well today, and I'm quite happy about it.
Yeah, now what about the actual navigation down this mad mountain trial?
Jeremy, as I said at the start, I hate this event. It's too fast. These maniacs that we sit next to drive too fast, and we got no work to do in the car. So you sit and watch what they do all the time, and I don't like that.